I think that that's one of the things that's really unique about about hip hop culture and about music is that when you begin to like to branch out, sometimes you can miss people a little bit where they used
Yeah,
to
for
you doing
sure.
this one thing, they sort of fell in love with you for doing this one thing, and then as you grow and you begin to do some of these other things, they sort of had this weird,
Yeah, they got that image about you.
yeah,
They got the
yeah. They
picture in
want
their
you to
head
stick
about you.
to that.
Yeah.
They got you in this box. They want you to stick in that box.
Yep.
And I think what's special about artists, and again, to me, this is sort of where you sort of transition from being just maybe a rapper to being an artist, is when you can't be put in a box.
Hmm.
When as you get older and as you mature, like the same way you don't dress the same way you might have dressed when you was younger, you don't
Hmm.
talk the same way you talk when you was younger, you don't view things the same way you viewed them as you was younger. When you're an artist, you also begin to create differently. You don't create the same way you did when you was younger. You create and you speak about things, in a different man. You might be speaking on the same things, you just viewing it in a different perspective.
For sure.
And having kids, can really change that. For me, having watching my son grow up really changed that for me, where it's like, oh, okay, like even just seeing him listen to certain music, like it's no way I could be making this music still
Yeah.
because you listen to music like this,
Yep.
and I see how you is, listening
Yep.
to this, and you young, and I
Yeah.
remember being younger, and my, whether it was an uncle or somebody that was older, and they listening to something, I'm like, I don't know how you listening to this
Right.
shit, like,
Right.
like to get it to the point where it's like, okay, I see how this happened,
Yeah.
like if you
For
blessed
sure.
enough to get to some of these ages, there's some of these benchmarks, you begin to think differently, you begin to move differently, and you begin to create differently.
That's a fact.
So what's some of the things that, with all those things being said, what's some of the things that you've been creating now? What's some of the ways that you've been artistically involved now that whether it's things that you just recently released or things you're gonna be releasing in the future, just sort of talk to me about where you at as an artist right now.
Where I'm at as an artist, pretty much. I mean, I'm going off a vibe. I'm setting a vibe for myself. I'm pretty much trying to paint my words to your ears. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
how I'm feeling, what I'm going through. Pretty much just keeping it eccentric.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to do the same things people doing. I don't want to pick the same beats. I don't want to. And I even understood the importance of original beats too. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like versus just like getting beat. Like I had people send me beats through social media,
Hmm.
and like some of them is some of my best songs. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Like it's just I don't know. My beat selection different, bro. Like
What do you talk to me about, like the way you go about beats and picking your beats? I was talking to, man, I was talking to Kilo, and I was telling him, for me, I've got different producers who I've worked with for years, on through YouTube or through BeatStars, and I'm fans of the things that they do, and so I've
mhm,
sort of kept up with them throughout 5, 6, 7 years, and I've never personally like have no issue with getting a beat from YouTube, and I know
mhm,
some people have different opinions on things like that. And I also work with people in the city that have produced music. My homie Dame, he produced some of the beats that I did early on.
mhm.
But I got YouTube Premium. I'll go through and I'll just be downloading beats. Like I'll
Yeah.
go to a producer page. I got like 20, 25 beats from them. I spend time with my phone storage is full because
Nah,
I
for
got
real.
300, 400 beats on
Yeah.
here. And I go to sleep just listening to beats. I
Mhm,
might wake up in the middle of the night and 3, 4 lines that came in my head is just beat playing. Or I wake up in the middle of the night and wait, what was that was just playing? Or
mhm.
I'm going through going through my day, and I'm just listening to beats and going back and forth to different beats. And I got a line here, a line there, and I might, get 5, 6 beats from one producer and only make one song to it, but I get a feel for his production and the way that he make music. And a lot of, it's some days where I'm looking for something to maybe inspire me. We're like, oh, this, he did something different with this.
Yeah.
And then some days we're like, I'm inspired and I'm just looking for a beat to be sort of like the canvas to put my words or my feelings on. But so talk to me about what your production selection is like, because you got some crazy beats.
Um, I mean, pretty much it's gotta be like it's gotta have a melody to just get stuck. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like I gotta hear a certain sound, bro. Like don't get me wrong, like I like all beats, not every beat is the craziest, but like I like crazy beats, bro. Like it's gotta have a lot going on.
Okay.
Stuff like you like if
Yeah.
you really listen to music, you'll hear like, damn, I heard that love. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right. Yeah.
Who the
Those
fuck on the
small things.
snares? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Like for real. What
Yeah.
the fuck? Like, but I don't know, working with Jay-Z a lot and working with like Swift and them, like
Uh-huh.
and Darius, like I see a lot of things you could even do with a beat. Like
Yeah.
I never knew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying to down the artist that just goes to the studio. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But like once you like learn the ins and outs of everything, like it's so much you could do and it's
Yeah.
simple and it's
Yeah.
just it'll take your record to the next level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?